Oh,
Welcome to Slow and Steady, the podcast where you get to follow along as we figure out how to build and run a SaaS. I'm Brian.
and I'm Benedikt. Each week, we'll give you an honest peek into our lives as we work on our products and keep the lights on by outsourcing everything. Today is November 24th, and I am busy.
See, this is episode number 67, and I am feeling thankful. It's Thanksgiving week here in the States, so
It feels like
thankfulness
your feelings are appropriate, like
yes,
right on time.
yes, thankfulness is on everybody's mind, and yeah, I mean, yes, it has been. 2020 has sucked. Relative to my lived experience, 2020 has been a really, really terrible year. Relative to the human condition, I mean, I have, tons to be thankful for. So, happy Thanksgiving, everybody here in the U.S. and around the world. I'm feeling thankful. Hey, we should mention the MicroConf SaaS Podcast Awards
One more time.
again.
Yeah.
One more time. So, if you all are listening and enjoying this show, and wouldn't mind taking a few minutes to nominate Slow and Steady, then you can go to SaaSPodcastAwards.com. And if you would like to nominate us in one of the categories of Best SaaS Podcast, Best Hosts, Best Episode, and Best Founder Story, it would mean a lot. So thanks. Looking forward to seeing those nominations.
Yeah, absolutely. I think nomination and deadline for nominations is today, like November 24th, when this one comes out.
Well,
but voting starts December 1st. So
I actually think the nominations are if you are listening to this on the 25th of November, this is the last day you can do this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for us right now, today is Tuesday, but listener,
yes,
you're listening to this on Wednesday. Pull open your mobile browser, head over to SaaSPodcastAwards.com. All right. How you're feeling busy?
Yeah, like there's a lot, like just a lot of small stuff going on again. Like I have a big task that I want to tackle this week, but I'm not entirely sure if I actually get to it, because there's so many small and little stuff going on that I don't really have the headspace to just focus on the big tasks. But yeah, feeling busy. That's
what's
a good
the big
summary.
thing? Can you talk about it?
Yeah, the big thing is like company automations. I want to get into this week with like company tracking in place. Last week I did company segments. They're kind of working, not pushed yet, because I'm a little bit scared about a bigger migration that's needed to get this out. But the last big missing piece of the company's feature is like the automations, and I really want to start working on it because it's kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I hope I get to it maybe tomorrow. Today is almost over here, so not going to happen, but maybe I can get into it tomorrow.
Yeah. But so I'm kind of curious, like, are you, when it comes to prioritizing things and like laying out your roadmap of things to work on, do you guys just kind of go by feel, or are you using any sort of framework for deciding what to build next?
I think it's mostly feel right now. And a lot of it is also like just keeping our heads down and continuing in one direction where we set out to go into. We're actually in the process of thinking about what's next. Like once this feature is done, what should we focus on next? And it's not exactly clear yet. The next logical thing we're probably going to do is like start working on integrations. I mean, this was the goal from the start, like get this data model change in place and then start building the groundwork for integrations.
Mm-hmm.
But what comes next is super unclear right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you heard of RICE? RICE?
Risk, impact, something like that.
Reach,
Reach,
impact, confidence, and effort.
confidence,
So
effort. Yeah.
reach times impact times confidence divided
Yes.
by effort
Yes.
gives you a score. I I am terrible at this as a solo
Hmm.
founder, but when I'm actually in a product role,
Yeah.
um, and not one of the developers, then it's just really, really helpful to be able to, like, put a score on things,
Hmm.
and for sure, there's also like, "Oh, yeah, okay, this one actually comes out slightly higher, but, there's some additional thing maybe that you need to factor in," but it at least gives you some, I don't know, some system for starting to put things into order.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and like I say, work working by myself, I do exactly what I tell other people not to do, which is just go
Yeah.
by feel, and it
Yeah.
shows, like, I'm floundering. Um, anyway, I'll throw
Yeah.
that out there, and also listeners, if you haven't heard about it, you can, like, just search for Rice Intercom.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, they're kinda one of the ones who either invented it or made it famous, and you can find some good posts there.
Yeah. We have used it in the past, or we're actually using it from time to time when it's more like we have like a couple of features of like they feel like kind of equal in priority and
Yeah,
equal in the
yeah,
details.
uh-huh,
We sometimes use this framework to figure out what's like where's the most
yep,
bang for your buck, something like that.
yep,
And it's helpful for that. But I feel like right now, I think it's more like an existential crisis thing of like where does the product have to move? Like in what direction do we have to move? It's not like we have like 5 features people are requesting and we have
uh-huh,
to figure out which is the best to build next. It's more like should we change something fundamental or not about the product? So that makes
mhm.
it a little bit harder.
Um, I guess I've kind of feel like I hear you talking about impact and confidence.
Yeah, but like I think the problem we have right now is that those are all big question marks.
Mhm.
Like it's super hard to predict like what the impact is, and
Yeah,
the confidence
yeah.
is probably zero on all of them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, okay, what's interesting about that is, I mean, there's, uh, rice at the layer of the development roadmap, but
Hmm.
you're now talking about one level up the decision chain, and
Yeah,
this is like at the C-suite level. Like, what are the projects that we need to work on, and what's our rice score for each of those? And it sounds like something, some sort of market research, um, and customer
yeah,
discovery is still really, really high priority for the team.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's exactly what we like. If we're not talking about product development, then that's the next thing we will do. Like do more customer interviews and figure out
Mhm.
where we are. Like it became obvious that we don't quite have product market fit.
Yeah.
Um, so now the question is like, what do we have to change to
Yeah.
get to product market fit? And yeah, looks
Is
like we will be doing another round of customer interviews, especially with people who
Yeah.
are not yet customers, because we did a bunch of those, and like for some people the product works really well. But it's not like, I mean, as I mentioned this last week, we're not getting a lot of trials, and
Mhm. Mhm.
it, it still feels we have some name recognition, but like if the product is a good fit and we have name recognition, why are people not signing up? Which leads
Yeah.
us to the conclusion that maybe it's not a good fit. Maybe there's something
Yeah.
missing, and that's the part we have to figure out before we know what direction to go into.
And that's the slice of the funnel that makes you say we don't have product market fit. Not that you have astronomically high, or, outside of the norms, high churn. You have very, very low acquisition and activation.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So I guess the the pain either isn't big enough or you aren't, pushing on it in quite the right way? Do you have a sense of which of those two it might be?
Um, we talked to a couple of people over the last week or so, and it one thing that came up that the product isn't unique enough. Like right now, we
Okay.
are not like
Okay.
we are solving a problem, but you can solve that problem with a ton of other tools as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now the question is, what can we change to have like more of a unique angle to it?
Mhm.
And like the companies feature that sort of thing is kind of a unique angle. Not everyone is doing that, and I think we have some more advanced ideas about it. But then again, there's always the question: are we building too crazy, like of a feature with this? Like, it's probably unique, but maybe it's too unique and nobody gets
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
So that's one
Mhm.
thing we're struggling with. Um, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
that's where we're
I
at.
mean, hard one to pin down too, because 'cause you're totally right. I mean, you're solving a problem that people have, and finding what's the thing that you're going to innovate on
Yeah,
that resonates,
yeah.
and that appeals to enough people. So, I mean, and yeah, customer interviews is totally the way
I
to do
think
that.
that's the way to go, because like we won't find the answer without talking to some
Yeah.
people in the market, and
Yep.
nobody else can tell us the answer, because no one really knows until they ask
Totally.
what people are looking for. Yeah.
I'll shoot you an email afterwards. I mean, the week before I went to the Grand Canyon, I did this project where it was for it's two different companies, but the same process for each, which
Hmm.
was 5 customer interviews, just about the whole customer journey. Um, what triggered them to start doing this? What are all the things they consider as they're doing it? What are the micro tasks that you do as you're solving it? Just collecting all those, putting them into a a, uh, a type of sentence, and then we
Hmm.
used who was it? We used a survey company. I'll look it up and send it to you. But then we sent that survey out to 100 people. So
Mm.
4 qualitative interviews, getting tons and tons of little things, finding patterns, and then quantitative, sending it out to 100 people and figuring
Mm.
out that slice of what is very important to you as you're trying to get this job done, and what are you highly unsatisfied with in the current way that you're doing it, and boom, that's where your innovation is.
Yeah.
um
Nice.
and
That's a good
you
idea.
know it also tells you too, like, where are the table stakes, what do people not care about. um but anyway, I'm happy to throw some of that stuff
Yeah,
over to you,
that
have a
that
little bit
sounds
of a
like exactly the thing we need.
framework. Yeah, cool. um what else, man?
Yeah, continuing on the being scrappy and shipping a lot of small stuff. Maybe also contributing to why I'm super busy and not I'm not working on the big stuff. But I mean, it's so good to get some momentum on and just like
Yeah.
improve little things here and there, and just like give up on the big ideas and solve customer requests and problems in small,
Mhm.
efficient ways. So we added support for custom, well, not really custom, but for different email templates. So before we had like one simple email template
Mhm.
that was a little bit styled. It didn't look like a plain email, but it also wasn't like super branded and stuff like that. And last week we got one request by a customer who was like, "Yeah, is it possible to get like something more branded with our logo on top and stuff like that?" Apparently, they did some research and found out that something like this would resonate better with their customers, at least for certain types of emails. So I decided to just build basically add a theme switcher to the email composer dialog and just add a new template with a little bit more styling. And funny enough, only like a day after that, we got a new trial and they requested like the opposite, like even less styling. So I also added a template for that, and now we have like 3 different styles in there. They're still hidden behind the feature flag, but if someone asks about it, then we can totally enable it. And I think it was on Friday, we got like a lead just like sending a request to the support email address asking for, hey, is it possible to do custom templates? Now, before that, I would always reply like, yeah, it's on the roadmap, but right now it isn't possible. And now it was super easy to reply, yeah, we just built this week.
Yeah.
Send over whatever HTML you want to use, and we'll incorporate it for you. So, being scrappy pays off in a way.
It does. Yeah. Builds momentum.
Definitely. And we also did something similar. We had someone request like the ability to set up custom bounce domains for like when emails aren't properly delivered. Like right now we're using like a generic userlistmail.com bounce domain, which works and isn't really a problem. But if you want to have like super tight demarc alignment where like the SPF records on the email on the domain and DKIM stuff, like all is super tight, then you have to have like a matching bounce domain. And that wasn't possible before, but now it is. Also by just like super small changes in the code, no UI for it. Still, I have to go in there and set it up manually, but it's at least possible now.
Yeah, right.
And other small stuff like that where it's not a lot of effort, but solves a problem. Some of that, was nice to improve. Yeah, how's
how's all the concierge stuff going?
Yeah, I was about to mention that. We started doing paid ads for that. I think Jane set up a Facebook campaign just like promoting the concierge setup thing. We also doing retargeting with it, and honestly, we don't have good tracking. But like about an hour after we set this up, someone booked a new call with us. So it's happening later today, nice. And we're definitely going to ask like why, like how did you hear about this? If they say it was because of a retargeting ad or something like that, then that already paid off, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Have y'all continued with? I've kind of lost the thread, but did you continue with your Facebook ads from when you first started them several months ago, or did you shut them off and now you're switching them back on for concierge?
I think we switched some of them off. Like we definitely stopped doing the Google ads because it was obvious that something isn't working there.
Yeah.
And I think we had most of the Facebook ads stopped. There might be some retargeting happening. I'm not entirely sure. But we are now. I think right now the only thing running is the retargeting for the concierge setup.
Have you? Do you know off the top of your head? Have you noticed your Facebook ad cost steadily increasing over the past 5 to 6 months?
No, not that I.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not super up to date with the numbers, but
all good. Listeners, if you are running Facebook ads, I'm an advisor for a startup, and over the past 6 months, the Facebook ad spend has just been, it has doubled for them. And we're like, what the heck is going on? For a while, we just thought it was like the election, pushing the market up, but it has continued to move. Alright now we're into holiday season, but anyway, listener, if you're dealing with that too, hit me up. I would love to talk to you. Well, cool. So you've already got a lead through the concierge thing.
So we have 2 people are currently in the setup process. They're mostly finished. I'm confident that one of them will definitely stay around. The other one, I'm not entirely sure. Like, they are sending mixed signals. Like, first they were super happy, and then they started this like asking about pricing and being like, yeah, we don't know. And then we're like, yeah, let's do it just for a month and we'll evaluate. And so
lead
not
score is
entirely
middle of the
sure.
road.
Yeah, something like that. It would be super nice if we closed them, because they have a big user base, so it would be an impact on revenue. With the other one, that was super smooth. We did basically all the technical integration for them, writing some code. A thing came up that I didn't consider basically was we have, because I was going into their project, we needed a contract and we didn't really have one. So that was that took some back and forth to figure out, like, how do we, especially the intellectual property part, how do we figure this out so I can contribute to their code base, and also on the side, like in parallel, work on the Laravel package, and how do I make sure that we still retain ownership over that part, even though I'm sort of doing it for them and stuff like that. So I hope we figured that one out. And once the technical side was done, we also moved their campaigns from Intercom. Basically got in there and copied everything over. And I think they had one issue when reviewing it, and I think I fixed that today. So hopefully they are all set and ready to send.
Right on.
Yeah, that would be nice. And then let's see how the new one later today goes. Hopefully there's a new one in the process then.
Yeah, that's sweet, man.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Just being forced to use our own product.
Yeah.
It's interesting in that you notice all the small things that you don't notice when you're just testing it, like going through it and making sure it works. Like some parts could use some polish here and there.
Yeah, totally. It's like when you leave your house for a week or two, and then you come home and you're like, oh, there's that little nick on the door. I guess I have always noticed that. I just got used to it. I should touch that up.
Yeah. Has this always been there? Is this new?
Yeah, exactly.
So definitely a valuable exercise, I guess. And if it ends up that we get some customers from this, then I mean, even more so. Continuing from the last week, 2 weeks ago, I built the first version of the Laravel package, and we decided that it probably doesn't make a lot of sense for me to keep polishing it. So we started hiring people on Upwork for this, or at least started trying to hire people on Upwork for this. And it's been interesting. Like, I tried to dabble with this in the past, but it never really worked out. And
hit or miss. Yeah.
I'm giving it another try, and it's been an interesting experience again.
What's the biggest challenge that you're having with hiring on Upwork right now?
For me, it's super hard to judge. Like, I have a hard time judging people just from their profiles, because it's a lot of buzzword bingo.
Yeah. Yep.
So we started just we posted a job. I think we had a somewhat decent description of what needs to be done, and then just started talking to people who applied or who we invited. And it was interesting that there was one guy who just didn't even read the document we prepared.
Yeah, for sure.
And just asked a lot of questions that were totally they were definitely answered in the project or in the description. Yep. And also totally didn't get what we were asking for. I started work, like we hired one for a test project. And we had some conversations back and forth. He asked the right questions, but after the 4 hours we did for the we assigned for the first project, like the results weren't really great. Like it was a little bit. I was hoping for a little bit more, but in hindsight, maybe my specs were too broad or too, well, not concrete enough, and not like, I didn't really outline tasks. I outlined the overall idea and goal and what I believe are like the main components of it. But I feel like maybe I have to be like more, just break it down into small tasks and tell them, hey, do exactly this. And after that, just start, only if that part is done, start thinking over the next part and stuff like that. And
That's
the third,
interesting. I mean, I've had real, I would say, really good success with Upwork over, I mean, like the last 4 years.
okay.
Definitely been some failures of, okay, yeah, I have to throw all of that code away. That was a bad hire. But I mean, I would say for the most part, it could also be that what I typically hire Upwork for is the opposite of what you're doing. You're hiring for polish, and I almost always am like, just get this off the ground for me. And then I will refine it, and make it
Yeah.
perfect. The couple of filters that, or I would say 3 that work really well. I always filter for 90% success and 10,000 USD earnings. So, um, that that usually results in, okay, this person is
Yeah.
proven here. I keep the description short because, out of respect, I mean, just think, being
Yeah.
on the other side of it too. Like, yeah, they don't want to go reading through a ton of
Yeah.
those things. Super
For
short
sure.
description and a couple of screening questions. So
Yeah.
those are the things that have helped me, I feel like, hire relatively successfully.
That basically counters my idea of like making like producing a longer task description.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe it's a good thing to keep it short in the beginning and then be like more specific once you hand out tasks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, have that description ready, or,
Yeah.
the specific tasks ready, but only get into that after you've narrowed down your 15 proposals down to your 3 favorites,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it's probably a good idea to not overwhelm them with a long document right from the
Yeah, but I
start.
mean, because, right,
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
they're just trying to, yeah.
they also have to figure out who to work with in a very short amount of
Yeah,
time.
totally.
Yeah.
I mean, they have probably like a 5%,
Yeah.
success rate on all the ones that they submit for.
hmm Yeah,
So,
that's
I'm just
true.
thinking about their side of it. Keep it short, ask a couple of screening questions that tell you right away, do they know what they're talking about? Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point. But yeah, I mean, it's a learning experience for the most part. We see how it plays out in the long run.
Mhm.
At this point, I'm at a stage where I'm wondering, like, instead of just writing all those like documentation and what needs to be done, I could probably just do it myself.
Do it. Yeah.
But then again, I mean, that's if I
Yeah.
if we nail
Yeah.
this process, then it will be like more efficient with the next hire for the next framework or whatever we
Yep.
try to focus on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Well,
What about
yeah,
you?
dude. I mean, well, I feel like exactly what you're talking about right there, that struggle. This is one of, I think, the hardest things about bootstrapping, is that struggle that you just described, where, you know, you that if you take the time to build a process, then over time that will pay off with
Mhm.
dividends, as opposed to, you know what, I know how to do this, I can just do it right now.
Yeah.
In bootstrapping, the luxury that you don't have, I think anyway, is feeling like you have this bit of margin to play with to be calm, and confident in, I can take my time on this and write out a process and know that it's going to pay off, a
Yeah.
year or two down the road. I feel like not having that luxury of margin, both in time and money, I think pushes me anyway, oftentimes to less, uh, I don't know, maybe less, I'm not sure what the right word is, but, not as great decisions.
Yeah.
So anyway, so to segue, like, why does that resonate with me right now? Um, is I'm so on the consulting side, I'm feeling really good about November, December, and January. The year has been a hell of a beating, but it's actually going to close out pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just I'm spinning up this really great project. I have a couple other, prospects and leads coming through that look really exciting. It's just like, where was this in July? Um, so it's just the way of it. Such is consulting life. But anyway, all to say, I'm feeling really good about December and January, and probably even bleeding into February. Um, but what I am my big feeling and question right now is if I just need like a full reset on how I'm going about trying to build this business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am not a good solo founder. I think I can say with uh, some degree of, if you can get outside of yourself and be
Mm-hmm.
objective and make an objective analysis. I am not a good solo founder. The best version of me, the best parts of me come out when I'm on a team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I'm pretty good at development. I'm not exceptional. I'm decent at design. I'm not incredible. I am above average good at identifying what makes other people click and what inspires them
Mm-hmm.
and leveraging that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm good at helping others be their best. Um, and And so the skills that like if you're an incredible builder, an incredible designer, you're probably an awesome solo founder. I am neither of those things. Um, and so the problem with that is like it's really hard. It's really hard to find a co-founder because I think it's so much like a marriage. Like I do not think it should be entered into lightly. And so
Mm-hmm.
the only people I can think of that I would, found a company with are my, like, previous coworkers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, like, I'm not going to find my co-founder, through my network on Twitter or through this podcast.
Hmm.
I can say with some degree of certainty. Would you challenge that? You and Jane worked together on projects before. Could you imagine doing user list if y'all had not worked together on Tiny Reminders?
That's a good question. I don't know. I challenged this in a way that, I mean, I consider Jane a friend, but not
Uh-huh.
like we didn't start out as super close friends. So I challenged the notion of it has to be it has to be a close friend or something like that. I actually
Well, I don't
think
mean it
it
needs to
might
be a
be
close friend.
okay.
I mean, it has to be somebody who you have worked
Experience
closely
with,
with and
yeah,
have experience with. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think that's true. I think there's some danger in like doing this with close friends because then it's like there's too much
Yes.
at stake there.
Yeah, well, yeah, one of my best friendships was destroyed for, like, a year and a half because of my
Yeah,
previous failed startup, like,
yeah,
that is a fact, yeah, yeah,
yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember that we talked about this. I think
yeah,
well
yeah.
plenty of episodes ago, somewhere in between.
Yeah.
So I think that's
I
a bad
want to
idea.
say we have since like completely repaired and restored that friendship, but it has taken a solid year and a half.
Yeah.
So.
The question is like, there should be a good process of like, I don't have an answer, but like, is there something you can do to like to test the waters? Like, maybe instead of trying to build something big together, maybe start with smaller stuff, like just collaborate on something else.
Here, the thing is, Benedikt, look, man, I'm too old for dating. I'm over dating. I am a stable, committed man, and I'm ready to enter into a long-term relationship.
But how do you get to a long-term relationship without dating?
I know. Well, I mean, by marrying somebody that you've known for a very long time and trust and know how they operate.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But like,
well, so I mean,
where
we
to
don't
find them?
have to. We don't have to belabor the metaphor, but that is definitely what I'm trying to reason through and work through here is that headlamp would be so much further along if I were building it with a co-founder who was equally, passionate and committed about this particular project. Or if there were anyway, like I've been asked this question a couple times, like because I feel stuck on this, and I'm trying to get myself unstuck. Certainly having a steady base of income frees up, some mental space to think creatively. Like I just don't think that nobody makes good decisions when they're anxious. And so hopefully that will free up a little bit of it. The other thing is just thinking through, like, okay, if I push harder on Headlamp, will it change anything? Will it get better? I think if I were just to push and push and push harder under this current situation, I think I would just burn myself out even more. I don't think pushing harder is what I need. I think I need a lever. And I think that lever is a team.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, one of the challenges with like finding a co-founder is like it has to be the right time for both, or like for all involved parties, and that's the hard. You can't force that part. Like it either you either get lucky or you don't.
You're trying to catch lightning in a bottle, which can totally be done. I mean, I think that's what Justin and John have, like perfectly complementary skill sets in a market where they hadn't in years and years of experience, and it's on the rise. Boom. Yes. Seize that and capture it. 2 startups ago, that's what our team did. And it was really hard and it was messy and et cetera, but like we functioned like as a team of 10, we functioned like a team of 50 and just blew it up. But yeah, it's got like timing for everybody, timing of the market, building the right thing, complementary skill sets. And I don't have the complement right now. So, I'm like in a very, I feel super calm and patient about this right now. I don't feel any sort of despair about, what I'm going to do is so much as, okay, end of the year, reflect on this. Relative to what the world did, Brian, just chill out. You did pretty good in 2020. And now what can you make 2021 look like?
So if I understand you correctly, then you're not necessarily looking for a co-founder for Headlamp, but like you're more open to opportunities. Is that what I'm hearing?
I am thinking very seriously about what are the list of options for ways that I could create pull together, or join a small team, probably made up of people I already know.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way that that can even functionally happen?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Mm.
And I am very thankful and grateful that consulting work is ticking up, so that so that I don't have to be thinking short-term scarcity mindset. I need to find a full-time job also.
Yeah. 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 That part helps for sure. Did you consider like teaming up with other consultants in the sense of like just doing projects together?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, because I feel like this might be a way to, well, basically try out the waters and see if if you find some people that
Yeah.
you click with, and you can. I mean, I know it's a little bit harder to find jobs if you're like trying to do like the full service offering, like
Mhm.
I don't know, development, design, product stuff all at once. But it would be a good opportunity to find people that you can work with and that work well, even if
Y
you're not super familiar with them yet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good thought. I think, the thing that, uh where that keeps that from kinda coming into fruition is that any project I have where I need, somebody with, back-end expertise to sort of to complement me, like, my friend Richard is, boom, like, top of the list by many degrees of, separation. Um, and so we have worked together in as that, like, a lot. And hey, Richard, I'm sure you're listening. Hope you're doing well, man. Happy Thanksgiving, buddy. Um, but like the timing of, yes, right idea, right time, dude, let's
Yeah,
do this. Like
yeah,
that hasn't clicked. Um, and so yeah, you're right. Like yeah, that's definitely that would be a possibility. And I will add that to my list of options. Like I'm sitting here saying, I want a list of what are the possible ways that I could start to
yeah.
plant those seeds. That's a good thought. That's a good idea.
But yeah, I did get it right that it's not necessarily what headlamp is it?
Um, no, yeah, yes,
Yeah,
like not
okay.
necessarily. No, yeah,
Yeah,
I still think like
there's something
of
there.
there is definitely something there. It just needs a handful of pivots that are a result of momentum, customer
Yeah,
discovery, responding to the market, um, and I am just like, the video of the person on, mile 20 of a marathon that like they aren't gonna make it. They are struggling. That's how I feel right now. So I like, I need that support team to come along and throw some Powerade.
yeah, yeah,
Let's
yeah.
move. So anyway, yeah, so that's what I got, man. Thanks for listening to me process out loud.
Yeah, it's good thoughts. I wish I
Have
had a
you,
good I had a good answer or a good
no, dude,
solution.
yeah, you don't have to have answers, questions back, help think it out loud, and you definitely triggered some thoughts. I saw on Twitter that you printed out your compass booklet.
Yes, and I got it right the first try, like which already feels like an accomplishment.
Yeah, that's
I
a
haven't
win. That's
I
a
haven't
win.
filled it out yet, but I think that December is probably
Dude.
the month to start thinking about this stuff
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
flipping through it and maybe filling out stuff here and there.
Yeah, it's going to be very weird to look back at the 2020 booklet and think about 2021.
Yeah. I have a feeling like nothing I wrote in the booklet a year ago is actually survived reality.
Yeah, totally. Well, that'll be a fun episode. I'll really look forward to that exercise and look forward to talking about it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's all I've got, man. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Nothing else to add at this point.
All right, cool. Thanks for listening. Head over to SaaSPodcastAwards.com, make some nominations, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you.